Hello 11A and welcome to our next vocab quiz for your listening skills test. So we're going to go through your listening vocabulary that you should have been practicing to make sure that you know it and you can get 100% on these quizzes. As you can see, you are going to have your listening skills test on the 23rd of June. So 23rd of June, it is a 50-minute test, so it should only take the one period. All right, so the 23rd of June. So in between now and then, it's really important that you learn this. And as I said, we'll have a quiz each week to practice these and double check that you actually know the information. If you know these words, it is going to have a huge difference on your final mark. So it's a great way to improve your overall GPA. Remember that if you have to redo the listening test or the reading test or even your essays, the redo, you can only get 55%. So you can only get 55%. So it's really important that you do the work now so that you get a successful mark in the first place. So we're going to start with listening test vocab quiz number 2, and the words, as I say these, see if you can repeat the words just so you get used to saying them and hearing them. It's going to improve your memorization of them. Hybrid, mass-produced, aerodynamic, percentage, mileage, plug-in, regenerative, and widespread. So you need to find where these words belong in the short paragraph that we're talking about electric cars. As usual, you can use context to identify what this means. Electric cars are becoming more and more popular. There is a higher of electric cars being. The popularity is. Countries all over the world are now turning to these new vehicles. The great thing about electric cars is their battery, which means you can to a power source and the battery recharges. Because they have very smooth bodies, they move through the air quickly. This also means they get a higher, being able to go further on less fuel. So I'll give you a minute to complete this. As usual, please press pause if you need to wait for a moment, if you need a little bit more time to complete it. As usual, please do not copy off each other. This is individual work, so it's not about getting the highest score in this test. It's about knowing the vocabulary, so please no cheating. Okay, so we're going to move on to matching the word. So the words are fossilized, vanish, species, periodic, extinction, and widespread. So the definitions, and you just need to draw a line between the word and the correct definition. So the first one is appearing or occurring at intervals. For instance, every week or every day. A kind or group or a sort of plant or animal. To disappear suddenly and completely. Found all over a large area. Plants or animals that have been preserved, turned to stone. Process of disappearing completely, plant or animal. So please draw a line, decide which one you think's which. As usual, I'll give you another minute and then we'll move on to the next section. Okay, and so we've found the word for the sentence. So the words that we have here are cultural, abroad, apartment, application, dormitory, preferences, and permission. And the sentences: I'm going to travel to another country. I'm going. 4 of us share a room at the university. It's important to ask from teachers before we go to the bathroom. To get into university, I need to finish a detailed. I can't wait to live by myself in a little. There are lots of differences between China and Australia, like food and clothing and what we do in our spare time. I like Thai food, horror movies, and playing piano. These are my. Give you a minute to finish those up. Okay, so if you need a little bit longer, please pause the video. If we are all ready, I would like you to swap your sheet with your partner, so the person next to you or behind you. If you can just swap your documents and get a pen, because we're going to mark each other's work. Okay, so the first one, fill in the blank spaces. Electric cars are becoming more and more popular. There is a higher percentage, so percentage goes here, of electric cars being mass produced. So there's more electric cars and a lot of them being mass produced. So mass produced means producing a lot on a high level. The popularity is widespread. So countries all over the world. So you know, if it's gone countries all over the world, it means it would be widespread. And now turning to these new vehicles. The great thing about the electric car, about electric, is their regenerative battery, which means you can plug in. So we can plug it in. So you can plug it into a power source and the battery recharges. Because they have very smooth bodies, they move through the air quickly. So are aerodynamic. This also means they get a higher mileage, being able to go further on less fuel. So often with these, I'm going to leave a word out just to make it a little bit more difficult for you, and it just makes sure that you are actually learning all of the words. So the word that we left out today was hybrid. And as you should know, hybrid is when we put two things together to create something new. So a hybrid. Okay, we're going to match the words. So fossilized. Fossilized is basically when something is turned to stone, so it's preserved, so it's fossilized. Vanish is to disappear suddenly and completely, to vanish. Species, a kind, a group, or sort. So we're part of the human species. Periodic is appearing or occurring at intervals. So we are having periodic tests. So every week you have a test, so that would be a period of time. Extinction is the process of disappearing completely, a plant or an animal. So both plants and animals can come to extinction. And widespread is found all over a large area. Okay, so hopefully we got all of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I should have got something out of 6 for that one. And this one should be 2, 4, 6, 7 out of 7. And the final one, I'm going to travel to another country. I'm going abroad. So to go overseas is to go abroad. 4 of us share a room in the dormitory at university. So dormitory at university. It's important to ask permission. Important to ask permission from teachers before we go to the bathroom. To get into university, I need to finish a detailed application. So you need to do an application for a job or an application to get into university, an application to go to different countries. I can't wait to live by myself in a little apartment. There are lots of, and I've said food, clothing, and spare time. So I know that this is talking about, my mouse has stopped working, cultural. And finally, I like Thai food, horror movies, and playing piano. These are my preferences. So they're the things that I like, are my preferences. Okay, so, and that would be 2, 4, 6, 7 out of 7 as well. And I think 14 plus 6 is 20, hopefully. If it's not, I apologize. And if you can just send me, you don't have to take a picture of the whole document, but please send me what your score is out of 20. So pass it back to your classmate and score out of 20. Those words that you did not know, please make a note of them so that you can actually study and focus on them. So if the words that you definitely do know, that's fine. We don't need to re-practice so long as you've memorized those words appropriately. But you do need to practice the words that you may not have got correct. All right, so that's it for today's class. Thank you very much. So the rest of the class, I just want you to review the vocabulary, especially focusing on the words that you got incorrect. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next class.